Hey, this is Garrett, A3 Customs today. I got some unfortunate news for a customer that we have been dealing with for a good while. He has a 2018 Chevrolet truck, a Z71, and it's only got 60,000 miles on it. And what I want to talk about is this thing has no transmission now. I'm kind of going to explain what's going on. I'm going to read you something. I'm going to show you something about it and let you know. So on the 2018s, I'm thinking 17 to 22, I think. The transmissions, the 8-speed transmissions, are notorious for what they call a shudder issue. And that shudder issue is in the converter. And then the converter will shell out, will tear up. And then once that converter tears up, it destroys the transmission. And so it pretty much just self-explodes inside the valve body. So the valve body gives a lot of trouble, and GM's known this problem for a long time. They've had issues for a long time with their transmissions, but not so much as detrimental as this transmission right here. Not here to bash GM. There's a lot of GM guys. I mean, I used to work for GM, so I kind of know. I used to work at the dealership, so I know what we're doing with these trucks. But just being said, I'm just telling you guys that, you know, the 2018 is notorious for it. There's a lot of vehicles that are notorious for it.
Brad, what's your input on the 2018 Chevy Silverado transmission torque converter shudder?
I don't know. I'm driving a Ford.
There's reasons that he's driving a Ford. There's reasons he's driving a Ford. And from 16, I think, all the way up to 2022, I'm not really sure on the year that it cut off, but I know the 8 speeds are notorious for that problem. Shudder, they call it a shudder problem. And so I'm going to show you what's going on. So this guy he was going home, I guess from work. It shuddered, made a clunking noise. Check engine light come on, P700 code. He takes it to, of course he didn't know it was a code, 700 code. So he takes it to Advanced. Advanced code scans it and says, oh, you got a 700 code, whatever. So he gets in the truck, he drives it, he's gonna take it home. Of course they wouldn't clear the code because they say they can't. So anyway, he goes to drive it home, it sticks in gear. Well, it lost the gear. So he's like, I don't know if it was in third or fourth, he didn't really know, but it was stuck. So then he went home, got his wife, and he come up here, and he parked it in the parking lot. Well, I was like, cool. He comes in, talks to me about it, and I said, yeah, man, I don't know. I'll run the code. I'll see what's going on. So we went ahead and we pulled the code on it, pulled a code on this truck, and started looking at finding out what was going on with the transmission, because from what he was saying. And I went to test drive it. When I got in it, of course, it was stuck in third or fourth gear. It was real sluggish out of the hole, wouldn't pull, but didn't change gears, stayed in gear, RPM screaming. So I said, okay, you know, transmission. So then we brought it back and we parked it, and then we did a TSB pressure relearn. We did a TSB says we can do a pressure relearn to check the valve body, make sure if it's got any kind of fluid. And what that does is, like, it opens the valves in the valve body and like back flushes them, setting still. So you kind of hold the brake, you go through the scan tool, and you do your protocol. And you'd have to have a scan tool that is adapted to do that. You can't just use your regular handheld you can buy at the store, AutoZone or Riley's and stuff. So you have to have the scan tool with the programmer in it to do it. So we have that, and so that's what we did. And it went through all the programming, and it went through all the steps and the phases, and it went through all the gears. Well, I put it back in park. It said put it in park and all that, so I went through that. I put it back in park. I shut the truck off. I waited my 10 seconds to clear, and I turned it, started it back, and when I did, I put it in drive. Lo and behold, no drive. So I was like, now what? So then I went through and checked it, and I was like, okay, we got fluid pressure, we got this, that, and the other. Well, then I put it back in drive, and I could watch the RPMs flare a little bit, but it wouldn't pull. And then I would give it gas, thinking, hey, what did it stick in 6th gear? What gear was it in? It was an 8th gear? I didn't really know. So I put it in gear, I hit the gas, nothing. So then I put it in reverse, thinking, hey, reverse works. It slammed into reverse, but it's got reverse. So then I checked the valve body to make sure the speeds would 1 through 8 would actually manually shift. I changed it on the gear lever. It went through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I actually checked it with a scan tool, exact same thing. So I know that the transponder was working. I know everything was communicating the proper way, and so therefore I already knew that what was happening. So conventionally, the converter shelled out, it lost fluid pressure, and then it lost valve body pressure. And so that's basically what happened. I think what happened with him is it went into limp mode when it seen that. It went into limp mode function, and that's why he didn't have the gears he needed. So I'm gonna get in here, I'm gonna start up, and I'm gonna show you what it's doing. And I'm also gonna read you a little evidence from online that kind of tells you what you expect on these trucks. Not saying Chevrolet's bad. I know there's a lot of Chevrolet guys out there that love their trucks and all, but I'm just saying be aware of this issue. And if you do come across this and it does do that, you need to kind of try to get on top of it. This guy is now putting a transmission in this truck, and it has got 60,000 miles on it, which is really not it's really not acceptable for GM quality. And like I said, I worked there 25 years almost, and I'm telling you guys, this here is a big failure on their part. They should have fixed this. They knew about this. This should have been a thing. And I guess Ford has their own issues, and they have their problems, and Chrysler has their own problems and all. Not here to bash Chevrolet. I'm just here to give you a technical to tell you kind of what's going on with the Chevrolet truck. So I'm gonna get in and I'm gonna kind of show you what's going on. It's a pretty nice truck on the inside. It's actually got 69,300 on it as far as mileage. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna let you read. I'm gonna show you this right here. It says the 2018 Chevrolet Silverado Z71, particularly those with the 8-speed automatic 8L90, is notorious for significant transmission issues commonly known as the Shudder. Symptoms include hard shifting, skipping, jerking, premature failure between 60 and 100,000 miles, sometimes requiring complete rebuilds costing $5,000 to $9,000. So that is just Google. You know Google's right about everything. But in fact, that is exactly what's going on here, and we verified it with a scan tool and with the code. So we knew what it was doing, plus verified that it will not shift into gear. So nothing. It is commanding to the TCC solenoid. It is commanding, and it's also commanding. The computer's actually talking to it. The TCM's actually talking to it. It's letting it know that it needs to shift, but it is not shifting. So when this transmission gets hot, it gets a lot worse. So it's trying to pull. You can see it flare on the RPMs. You can see the flare, but there's no gear in it. So we ordered this guy a new transmission. It'll be here in 5 to 7 days. Of course, we'll put that in there, and then we're going to take it over to GM. We don't have the way to program it. This transmission has to be programmed at the General Motors unless you have a scan tool or a way to get around it. We don't do enough of them to do that. We're a restoration custom shop. It's just a good customer, and we just want to take care of it. So that being said, guys, I just wanted you to be aware of the 2018 transmission issues in the newer model Chevrolet trucks with the 8-speed and the 8L90, those transmissions. But again, like I said, Chevrolet's not all bad. It's just certain things, certain years, but this is a problematic issue with this truck. So there you go, guys. Leave a comment down below, whatever. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some people mad because I was talking about the Chevrolet. Again, I was not talking about Chevrolet is junk. I'm just saying there's all of it. Ford has their own problems. Chevrolet has their problems, and Chrysler has their problems. It's just something to be aware of. If you're in a market of buying one of these trucks, it's probably a good idea to try to find the 6-speed versus the 8-speed, and they do make a 6-speed in this model, and that way you don't have those problems. You will have some problems, some other issues, but maybe not detrimentally putting the transmission in it. And again, if you've had this problem before, you kind of understand what I'm saying. It's very costly, expensive to fix, but we do them here. If you have a problem, you can come here and we can put one in for you. But again, it's A3 Customs. See you later.